What you are doing now is not in vain. It's going to change your life and it's going to yield results. Here's an example of what I mean. Hi there, I'm Adila, your 10-figure manifesting expert, here to help you create your ideal lifestyle. Welcome to This Is Your Story. A couple of months ago, I was making a video on TikTok and the audio went somebody called me during the video and the audio just stopped. But I was trying to basically say that the stuff that you're doing now is going to yield results in ways that you can't even really imagine. Like, if you're saying things like, isn't it wonderful? Or creating a life of ease, everything always works out for me. Everyone always takes care of me. Everybody loves me. Everybody provides for me. I'm always provided for. Those things that you're saying and you're claiming right now are not in vain. Sometimes the results from what we're desiring don't really come together in the beginning, and we don't really see tangible results at first with everything. But when you do it for a while, you shift into like a reality where that is true for you, where everything always works out so easily for you. And I'm inspired to basically kind of finish that first video today because it happens so often and I want to capture it like the day of. So that day I was inspired to talk about what happened to me, like I think the day before, where I create lists. I'm a list maker. So, especially with having a busy schedule or just a lot of things on my plate, I make a list of like what I need to do for the day. And I do it when I'm working. I do that just in my daily life, right? We make grocery lists and things like that. So, I make lists all the time. And that day I made a list of like all the household items I needed to buy. And I planned on going to Costco. And my sister loves Costco. I don't really love it anymore. I feel like I spend too much money when I go there and I don't really stick to my list. But anyway, so I had made a list of like all these things that I needed. And I like to use shea butter a lot. And I feel like it's really good for my skin. But that's kind of like all I have been using lately in the past couple years. And my sister loves shea butter. So we had found this African shop downtown that she had found actually. And I went with her and I was completely out. So, like, I had emptied my container and it lasts for a long time. But I was like, whenever you're going to get shea butter, let me know so we could just go together. But I had that on my list. I had shea butter, I had like toilet paper, dishwashing detergent, um, just various household items. So I pick up my sister for a different reason. We were just going to run errands, and she gets in the car with a bag of stuff. And she was like, here, here, you can have this. Here, do you want this? And it was first the shea butter. Okay. So I have to put this out there. My sister is the stingiest person like ever. And she used to be like really self centered and just all of this stuff. But I like intentionally recreated, her personality. I wanted her to be more generous. I wanted her to be more, I don't know, like loving enough for us to get along better. She gets in the car and it's a bag full of like almost everything that I had on my list. And I didn't ask her for it. So that's why it felt so significant to me because she got in and she was like, here, you need shea butter here. She gave me, this is one, here's another. She gave me five, and these are not cheap. So she gave me five things of shea butter. And I was like, what? I said, why are you giving this to me? Like, it was just so crazy because that's just not like her. And she was like, well, I bought some when we went to DC. So I have a lot. You can have these. She's so stingy, typically. But remember, I revised her. I said that she was generous. I said that she was loving, caring, treated me so well and all of that stuff. But it just it happened and it just keeps on happening. So, in addition to that, she gave me she she gave me dishwashing liquid, she gave me laundry detergent, and something else I can't think of right now. But she was like, "Here, and do you want this? I was going to give it away because I'm using a different soap. You can have this instead of going to Costco." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I mean, it was just crazy because that's just not how she typically does things. And some manifestations you'll notice like right off the bat, and some you won't really. But this one, I just knew right away that this was something I created because this was not her normal patterns. And it keeps happening. When you really get into it and like play around with it, you'll start to see how that happened. You know how we say that how you manifest one thing is how you manifest everything. It's really true. And you can notice your patterns. And I like to do that. I like to sit and understand how things came about, especially if there's something that I want that I feel like really attached to, or I feel like I have like this negative story around. I like to look at the patterns of me manifesting other quote unquote big things and see what I did in that process. But my second example with this kind of thing is just me writing down a list of things that I need or things that I need to do either this week or for the day, and it being done automatically. Me not having to put in any extra work to get it done. Me not having to um, do all of these things that I think I have to do in order for it to get done. And here's an example of that. So I'm expecting to receive about $3,000 from the IRS because of my tax person finding some tax credit that I should have received. And she amended my tax return. And she did that last year. And for whatever reason, IRS is taking forever to like process it. That was done like last year. It was supposed to be reviewed by the end of the year in December. And I got a letter this week stating that they finally reviewed it, and they need additional information. And with the IRS, if you've ever dealt with them, you know that when they owe you money, it takes them a while to pay you. Aside from when you owe them money, they give you like a week or a week, two tops, for you to pay that money that you owe. And these are all assumptions based on my experience. So you don't have to like take that verbatim and like that be your story about the tax IRS in America or whatever. But that's the assumption that I have, and that's been my experience. So when I received that letter a couple days ago, I was reaching out to my tax person saying, because the letter was so vague, it's like, send us more information. And they didn't say what information they needed. So I reached out to my tax person, and she's usually very available. And she responded to me a couple days later and said, yesterday actually, and said that she got into a car accident. She's not going to be available to support. Maybe she can get one of her coworkers because she's going to be off for a while. And we do everything online, like through email. So I don't even have her phone number. She didn't leave the phone number. So at first I'm like, okay, so what do I do with this? I don't even have her number. Like all of these things started scrambling in my mind based on this time sensitive documentation that I had to get to the IRS. So I started coming up with scenarios, and they were like what are they looking for? Will I have to go back and figure this out? They never answer the phone. So these are all like negative scenarios that were popping up in my mind. And what I'm noticing from even talking about it right now is the change in my body. I can feel like the tension starting. My voice feels like my throat feels tight. Like it feels like something I don't know how to handle, and it feels hard. And I'm imagining it's just from imagining the worse outcome or not knowing how to figure this out. So I want to just pause here and talk about that for a second, because what I do in those moments when that happens, I like to come back to myself, because it just means that I'm trying to figure it out and it's already figured out. I don't have to I don't have to figure it out, right? The answer is already here and I'm just not seeing it yet. So my job is to really just like relax into knowing that this is done. Relax into knowing that this is done. Relax into knowing who I am, reminding myself of my power. Adila, this is done. You don't have to do anything else to get this done. It's taken care of. Those are the kinds of things that I say to myself. I remind myself that I am God and this is already worked out. So yesterday on my list of things to do this week, I put taxes. But last night I decided to talk about how I am God, remind myself of who I am, and just be at peace, because it just really centers me. It calms me and it really helps the answer kind of appear. Because if you think about being in that state of like fear and not knowing, and you can call it anxiety too, you can't see the answer, even if the answer is right in front of you. To me, it's like you have this veil over your eyes and it's just hard to see, even though it's sitting right there, even though the answer is already here. So grounding yourself in the knowing that everything is done, this is just a part of it. It is done for you, not to worry, will help the answer come about. So I fell asleep in that. I fell asleep in the knowing that I am God. I asleep in the knowing that everything is already worked out, that everything is done. Creation is finished. I'm the operant power. That's what I fell asleep in. Then I wake up this morning while I'm helping my daughter get ready for school, 8 o'clock. Then the coworker calls me to assist me with the tax issue. She says to me, and usually I don't talk on the phone while I'm getting her, while we're getting ready for school. It's not I'm not available at that time, but the phone call was like less than 2 minutes. And she was like, okay, so the other person called me and told me what you needed. I'm looking at the paperwork right here. And she was like, oh, okay, we'll send it to him. Don't worry about it. And that was it. I was like, oh, okay. So I sat back and it kind of made my day too, because I sat back and I was like, I didn't have to do anything. And part of me was going to, take that paperwork and try to figure it out today or tomorrow, because that was my plan to get it done this week. But I didn't have to do anything. It's already done. So I'm saying this to say that this happens a lot for me. I'll make a list and I'll just, describe or sometimes imagine that things are done for me, or if there's a problem or a seeming problem that comes up, I'll like imagine the best case scenario. But a lot of times I'll just put something in a list like in my phone and it'll get done for me without imagining, without me asking for it. It'll just show up. Somebody will bring it to me. Somebody will offer it to me. And I'm saying that to say that the things that you are saying are not in vain. The everything is always working out for me. Because I know the feeling of feeling like you're saying, the same things and same practices over and over and not seeing results or not feeling like it's really doing much, and or you'll see some results but others won't happen quickly enough for you. It's all going to come together and it's all going to be so easy. You'll see. So just keep doing it. You're creating a lifestyle that's just easy for you and taken care of, and everything that you're doing is constantly working out for you. And here's something I wrote this morning when I woke up that I wanted to share. And you can just listen to this and feel into it. Everything that is happening now is a part of the unfolding of my greatest manifestations. I know I can't see it now, but that has no meaning. I know that this is mine and know that this is just part of the process. It doesn't matter what circumstances or even if the situation is negative. I know that this is happening for me because I claimed it. I know that this is happening for me because it is already done. My success is inevitable. Keep going and enjoy your success. If you like content like this, let me know by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.